Next, I want to bring up Brother Kevin and Marilyn and Charlotte, excuse me. And they represent the People's Task Force here in Detroit that's dealing with the problems associated with the crime lab. Let's have a warm welcome.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. I am the Executive Director of Detroit People's Task Force, and this is my Vice President, Charlotte Diggs. Right. If you've probably been reading in the papers in the last couple of months, you know, they had an article in the paper by Kim Worthy. I call her Kim Unworthy. But anyway, she's investigating errors within the Detroit Crime Lab. It's discovered that it was 10% errors out of 147 cases, out of 200 cases with 10% error, and out of 147 cases there were errors by ballistics testing in these cases. Okay, and the thing is, we've been trying to and we have been soliciting support of attorneys to help with the criminal appeals, you know, to get these defendants exonerated of crime they didn't commit. I have one young man that I much mentioned here named Kelly Nobles, and he's been in jail for about 6 years now.
9 years.
5 years, excuse me.
9 years.
9 years, excuse me. And the thing is, the police do not know to this day, even though he's been incarcerated and charged with crime of murder, they don't know to this day whether or not he committed this crime or his friends committed it or the people that they were up against. Okay, the thing is, Kelly, according to some witnesses, was inside the car during the time that his friend Kobe was murdered, you know, at this Coney Island. And the thing is, the police discovered that there were like 42 gun shell casings, and 28 gun shell cases, and they discovered that the killer had a 9mm. Okay, but there's witnesses to prove that Kelly did not have a gun at all during the time that this murder occurred, and plus the fact there was a gun shell casing inside of the Coney Island, and we suspect that there's another young man inside that was in opposition to Kelly and his friends that did the killing. You all know about the Gerard Williams case that was in the papers, and also his case had been retried, and he was convicted again over the same errors that was made by the technicians, the police technicians in the crime lab. Matter of fact, the supervisor only analyzed 2 gun shell casings. The person that was working under him analyzed all 42. Okay, and the thing is, the deceased, there was 2 brothers that were murdered, that they claimed that Gerard Williams murdered. Okay, and his attorney Barnett brought up the fact that maybe these 2 young men were probably killed by 2 people instead of 1. And the strange thing about it, the young man that was in the front seat had his stomach turned towards the front seat. So in other words, his stomach was turned towards the front seat and not to the windshield. Okay, and I have another case that you can talk about, and it's called Michael Harris. And this is a case that I've been working on for years. And the state crime lab messed up in his case because these 2 white women were murdered, and stabbed, and raped. And even though, forensically speaking, Michael's serology test that he took proved that he didn't do it. You know, he had a positive sperm count, and the person that did the killing had a negative one. So you see right now that there's a lot of cases in Detroit and Michigan where brothers and sisters, black people in particularly, been framed for murders they didn't commit. We've been trying to we would like for the federal government to intervene in these cases We need a federal investigation. We also call out for an independent crime lab, independent of the Detroit Police Department, because it's the Detroit police technicians that have been committing these errors through ballistics and causing these young men and women to be falsely accused of murders that they didn't commit. And we also call out for people in the audience here and people within the state of Michigan, you know, to write President Obama, to try to force his hand, so to speak, to call for a federal investigation into the Detroit Crime Lab. I'd like to present Charlotte today.
Hello, my people. I'm glad to be here today and to face you all in the difficult times that's coming ahead of us. But we're going to make it, and we're going to be a strong community, and we're going to get out here and fight for the betterment of our people, which is all people of all nationalities have the right to free housing, free education, free health care, homelessness. We are going to continue to on that fight. But what I want to say, that I am glad to be a part of this, because this is our heritage, this is our legacy, this is our right to come out here and voice our opinion. This is America, where this is the home of the brave. And we need to stand up and not be cowards and continue to in that fight. Because let me tell you something right now, change only happens in a moment. And knowledge listens, but wisdom acts. And we have to start acting on our wisdom and knowing and what we believe in and being courageous and standing up, because we have children that are dropping out of school at a rapid alarming age. We have children being shot in the street, and the Bible says in 2 Timothy 3:1 through 5 how critical times would be here, and that we would see our children slaughtered in the street and couldn't do nothing about it. But we can do something about it. We can make a change. We're gonna make a difference. We're gonna stand up. We're gonna be a powerful race, because we have one of the biggest infrastructures in the United States. This is the 5th biggest, largest state in America's history, and we have got to change it. And we know all of us can do it. And we would love for you to join us in our task force and business assistant and neighborhood development. I've been out here 20 years pounding the pavement, became precinct delegate, fought on different issues. When they had McGruff in and they was talking about how she had X amount of dollars for them to spend for her to come down here to teach our children, and she didn't do a damn thing. So, and now we as a society, we got to stand up. Me, you, all of us, our children. We have to learn how to discipline our children, discipline ourselves, keep ourselves focused no matter what's going on. It's a terrible thing out here that's going on in our city. But I believe that we can fight. Don't you? Don't you believe in yourselves? Give yourselves a hand of applause. And most of all, I noticed one thing that we didn't do, that we must do. We must remember our source. The Lord is our source. He's our power. He gives us dunamis power. He helps us to tread over the serpent and the sword that the enemy is going to use against us. But we can do it. And I know you believe you can do it. I want to hear you say, I believe I can do it.
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 Change happens in a moment.
Change happens in a moment.
And we can do it.
And we can do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.